You're listening to Last Word Radio, where you get the last word.
Welcome to the Fourth Line Podcast. This is Joel, not Carl. We are brought to you by the Alberta Podcast Network, powered by ATB Financial. This is a warning. Alert everybody. Carl is in a mood. This is why I'm starting and not Carl, because you know what? So Carl is he's gonna run some stuff for our sponsor because we love them and we want to do that up front. But after Carl does that, we're going straight into the rant shack, and it might end off in Joel's counseling coach. So be aware, listeners, that we're coming hot and heavy quickly, and Carl is fired up.
Joel, you're right. I'm glad that you've warned everyone. I am in a mood. We'll get into that in a second. But you know what doesn't have me in a mood? The great folks at ATB Financial. They are always great for those who work with us. They're great in supporting the hockey community, both local and professional hockey in Alberta. Head over to atb.com/listens to find out more about the great people at ATB.
All right. Here it is. This week, in the hockey world, the Calgary Flames ownership team, backed by Uncle Gary, announced that they would no longer be pursuing an arena deal with the city of Calgary.
Which, you got to think, why does Carl care about that? Why would Carl care about the Calgary Flames? He doesn't even like the Calgary Flames. Joel, do you know why this has me in a mood? Why immediately, as soon as freaking stupid Uncle Gary showed up in my city this week, I knew that this was going to be bad? Do you know why?
I think I do, but I'm going to say no, because I want to hear why.
Okay, so Uncle Gary shows up in town, and he starts yapping with Ken King at their charity golf tournament, or whatever they were at. I don't even care. They're doing their thing, and they're talking about how the Calgary Flames can no longer support the offer from the city of Calgary for their arena, and they start saying that, you know, that they'll look elsewhere. What was the actual line that they said? Oh, there will be consequences. That if this doesn't work out, there will be consequences. That's the line that Gary Bettman liked to throw out there. Do you know how stupid that is, Joel? What kind of consequences? Like, don't threaten me. Do you think I care about your consequences, Gary Bettman? The Flames face consequences with those. Shut up.
Are you done?
No, I'm not done. Okay, so this keeps going. So the Flames come out and they do this, which then leads the city of Calgary. If those of you who are new to the show don't know, I live in the city of Calgary, and I find the whole cities and arena thing to be a very mixed bag. So the city of Calgary came out and said what they were offering the Flames ownership team, and they were offering approximately 1/3 of the payment would come from the city, 1/3 would come from the team, and 1/3 would come from ticket surcharges, which apparently is completely unacceptable to the Calgary Flames. So then, Mr. Ken King came out this week and informed everyone that this was not okay with him, and that they would start to look in other places. What he informed us is that even though he wants the city to pay for this team, a team owned by the 14th richest man in Canada, he informed us this is not a money grab. If it was, we'd be long gone. There's lots of places to make a lot of money in sports other than here. You know what, Ken King? You take your team and you get out of here. I don't even care. Like, be gone. I am sick and tired of this crap that people show up and they start demanding the cities pay for their arenas. This is idiotic. You want a team to go make money somewhere else? Go find some other stupid citizens who are going to go pay for your arena.
Tell him, fired up. Oh, Carl has left the building. He is no longer here. He is gone. The Fourth Line Podcast, brought to you by Alberta Podcast Network, powered by ATB Financial. You can find us on Twitter at The Fourth Line Podcast. You can find us on Facebook, probably, Pinterest, Boom City.
Joel,
Carl's back, by the way. Carl's back. Are you going to be okay, Carl?
Like, am I taking crazy pills?
I think you might be overreacting a little bit. You might be overreacting a little bit.
But only a little bit, right?
But you're not wrong.
Okay.
But I think you are, like, I think you might be, like, a little oversensitive because of the LA Chargers, the LA Superchargers thing. Like, that probably affected you in this because that's a very similar circumstance.
I don't think it does. I don't want to pay. I think it like, I've always thought, man, that's really stupid that teams get all these cities to pay for their new arenas. And I've said it for years, and now it's finally hitting close to home. And I'm like, no, seriously, everyone, like, this is incredibly stupid. Why are we paying for this?
So, one of the things that happened this week as well, that isn't directly tied to this conversation, but could affect this conversation, is that a city close to my heart just put down a bunch of money and bought an arena.
Or like land? Did they buy an arena, or they put down land for an arena, or what is going on down in Seattle?
They're building an arena. I don't know. It's all finalized. It's a done deal. They are building an arena in Seattle that would be able to house an NBA, NHL franchises.
So the Seattle Super Thunder are coming back.
Probably.
Yeah. Then we'll move. They'll probably get an expansion team because we know that Uncle Gary loves his money.
Yeah. Unless Ken King takes the Calgary Flames and becomes the Seattle Seagulls.
I wouldn't mind if Ken King took his talents to Seattle.
I probably wouldn't mind either. Have another NHL franchise close enough that I might be able to go down there and watch the Leafs play.
Yeah, a little cheaper than Vancouver, probably. Like, definitely.
It's not going to happen. The Flames aren't leaving Calgary,
and that's the thing. The stupid thing about all of this is that it's going to work. Like, there will be consequences, and the consequences are that the Flames will have to meet halfway with the city. Like, it's all just negotiating in public. And the only thing that's interesting in all of this is the Flames are making this very public, and we are 1 month away from a city election.
It's going to be interesting to see how the politics of that plays out, because someone's going to lose the election because of this, I think. Like, there's like, chances are someone's going to, like, I don't know, because I haven't been following it closely, but everyone that's like kind of in the running for mayor of Calgary they're making statements on what they believe about this. And, but Carl, you're about as passionate about this as I am about sleeping in. I just love sleeping in.
And like, if someone's like, hey, Joel, do you want to get up at 6 a.m.? You just lose your mind.
I just lose my mind. And so, right. And I relate well to people that are passionate about sleeping in. And I think you relate well to people who are passionate about not paying higher taxes for sports franchises.
Yeah, we could agree with that.
But do we need to? So I believe we've had our first rant shack. What did I just say?
A shant rack.
Words are hard. This is why Carl usually does the hosting, and I just kind of show up. But we had a rant shack for I think it's been a long time since we've had a real one.
Yeah, and it's a preseason rant shack. The preseason started. The camps have opened. We had our first preseason game today. The Kings and the Canucks got their preseason on. And that was, a warm-up for the season. So if you're like, ooh, Carl was not in fine form in the shant rack, maybe he could get better. Well, we're working on it, folks.
Yeah. Do we need to take a step on the counseling couch before we move on?
I don't know. You're the expert in this realm. I will leave it to you. I don't know. Do you?
You seem like you're okay.
Well, I don't. I have zero control over this. Literally, it comes down to if it comes down to who I cast my vote for mayor or city councilor. That's literally the only way that I can have a say. I could walk over and petition outside the Saddle Dome. That won't do anything. We saw lots of Oilers people do that. You know what happened there? They got their new arena and a new team, and it doesn't matter.
Can you run for mayor?
I might be a little late on that.
Write in. I'll write you in if I lived in Calgary.
Okay. Do we want to start that?
Carl for mayor.
Carl for mayor?
Hashtag Carl for mayor.
Okay.
Hashlag. Apparently, legs are hashing. What does this even mean?
Hashlag shant rack Carl for mayor.
Yeah. Hashtag fourth line in power. Can you imagine if people gave us responsibility?
Yeah, that would go to our heads immediately.
Yeah. So that would be. See, I
think I threw my pen earlier. Did you see where I threw it?
No, you threw a lot of things. You threw your headset.
Found it.
You found your pen. If you were mayor, that would remind me of that would just be a constant Seinfeld episode.
Yeah. I don't know if I would be the best mayor out there, but I also wouldn't be the worst.
Well, yeah.
I wonder if I could get away with how George lives under his desk when he's working for the Yankees.
Yeah.
I wonder if I could just get away with that as the mayor. Do you think that works?
I think you would be the George Steinbrenner of mayors.
Ooh, just firing everyone.
Well, you I don't think people saw this, but there was veins popping out of Carl's neck and face as he was yelling just recently. So you get fired up. It's very.
See, and people couldn't see your react. You knew from my face what was about to happen.
Yeah, I knew from the text messages and the conversations that we had all week. That's why I had to give the warning up front.
Yeah. Because
I was worried that people wouldn't know what was happening and were afraid for you.
Well, thank you, Joel. Thank you, listeners. Let's move on to some other stuff that happened this week, Joel. Like I said, camp has opened, and you know who showed up?
Matt Duchene.
He's in camp. Matthew Duchene has arrived in Denver, and essentially, when talking with the media, went full Marshawn Lynch. I'm just here so I don't get fined. I'm here to honor my contract and for my teammates, was his statement.
I would expect nothing less.
Yeah, that's Matt Duchene, stand-up guy. Glad to have him on my team. In good Avalanche news, they did sign Nikita Zadorov to a 2-year, $4.3 million contract. Glad to have him there. Something that was, if they couldn't figure out a trade for Matt Duchene, the least they could do was figure out a way to keep Zadorov around. So, one more thing for Mr. Joe Sakic to do. And Matt Duchene, you may have seen going the rounds on Twitter, pictures from Media Day. And they started taking, they take their videos in front of the green screen to put them on the Jumbotron and all that. Matt Duchene not looking happy. And as if it's no surprise, he has had the A stripped from his jersey.
Ooh.
So Matthew Duchene in an A-list jersey, that A given to Mr. Nathan McKinnon. A well-earned A, I would say, but lots going on in Avalanche Town and lots going on around the league. The Boston Bruins signed Mr. David Pastrnak to a brand new contract, a 6-year, $40 million contract. I would say, for those, there was talks that he was trying to use the Draisaitl contract as a value. If that's the case, then Boston did well for themselves.
Yeah. Would you rather Pastrnak than Draisaitl?
Yes.
Yeah, so would I. He's got the all sixes contract.
Yeah. So that's a little scary.
Yeah. just a bunch of sixes, but that's okay. I think because all things revolve around me and what I care about
Obviously.
as a William Nylander and Mitch Marner RFA is going to be signing contracts here soon. I was pleased with the Pastrnak signing.
Yeah, you definitely hope that that's used, and I think that's a fair, maximum of what they're looking at for a contract for him. So if that's signed, then I would certainly be happy if in your shoes.
Yeah, but I think I hate to say good things about the Boston Bruins, so I won't. I think they are not going to like this contract at the end of it.
Really? Or you're just saying that? Okay, I see what's happening. You know what contract? Someone's not going to like by the end of it?
Draisaitl?
No, the Winnipeg Jets signed Mr. Brian Little
to
a
rough.
6-year, $31.7 million, which is $5.29 per year.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. You know what's even worse? The no movement clause and modified no trade clause they gave him.
The no movement clause doesn't really matter. That just says they can't send him to the AHL.
But the last 3 years, when he's old, when Brian Little is 36 years old, he has a modified no trade clause.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me.
If
you're to sign a guy to that long of a contract, then it doesn't surprise me that they're willing to give him a no trade clause.
If you're going to make one mistake, you might as well make two.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was, as much as the Pastrnak signing was a great value for the Bruins, I would say.
I disagree.
This one is not good at all for the Winnipeg Jets. So
yeah, it's gonna be. He's really old to be getting that long of a term.
Yeah, he's 29, has 1 year left, so that's going to put him at 30. That contract expires when he is 36 years old.
Yeah.
That's lengthy.
Yeah.
Joel, there is more news of the week, including some news from the NHL Department of Player Safety.
Yes.
And if you want that, we have so much to talk about on this week's show. If you want that, we will be recording right after this show our Patreon episode. So we're going to be talking about that. As well, Joel won't even tell me the other topic that he has in store for us for that show. So
it's going to be about sports.
Okay.
But not necessarily hockey.
Okay. But maybe hockey?
It could. It's general sports.
Okay, I like that. So head over to our Patreon page, support us. Thank you very much to everyone who does support us. And we might have teased it out before, but in the next couple of weeks, there will be some changes to our tiers for Patreon. So if you want to find out what those are, the easiest way to get that information is to subscribe.
Yeah.
And the tiers, they're getting better.
Much
things
better
will be happening. So
they're gonna be. You're gonna sit there and be like, you know what? These Patreon tiers are like butter noodles with with some how do you say that? Pecorino cheese grated right on top of those buttered noodles.
Really?
They're gonna be so amazing because that's like amazing.
I don't even know the words you're saying anymore.
Don't even worry about it. Just go along with it. Doesn't that sound good, man? Some like nice, fresh Italian noodles with some of this like cheese on top.
It does. You know what? Before we get into the rest of the show, what we're going to be doing is, as we've been doing for the last couple of weeks, we've been doing our divisional previews. We're going to be getting into the Metropolitan division. I was very confused, concerned, and honestly, a little taken aback. I went out for dinner this week with my wife, had quite possibly the best fried chicken I've ever had. Now, they are not the great sponsor of this show, like ATB Financial, so I will not give them free publicity, but I had honey fried chicken at a place in Calgary, and but what confused me and had me, a little upset, Joel, what is my favorite food?
Barbecue.
What else is my favorite food?
I have no idea. I actually don't know the answer to this question. Oh, queso. Boom.
Right. Okay,
Queso.
Joel, exactly. So we're at this place, and I see on the menu queso, and I'm like, okay, cool, queso. I want some of that. It was like cheese and crackers.
What?
It was not like melted cheese. I was quite disappointed. Apparently, at like a Spanish restaurant, queso isn't melted cheesy goodness. It's just like a cheese plate.
So it wasn't like buttered noodles with pecorino cheese grated on top.
No, there was not. Pecorine was not on my buttered noodles.
Did you need to get some of that?
How? Where? Like,
I don't know.
Is it Italian?
It's definitely Italian.
Okay.
Did you know that pecorino cheese is a special type of Italian cheese that's made from goat's milk and sheep or something?
Goat's milk and like there's sheep in it?
I don't know. No, it's not cow milk cheese.
Okay. So it's like goat and lamb milk.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. That's what you need instead of this cheese and cracker plate that's called queso.
Yeah. I need this pecorine, which is like a Finnish cheese made from the finished of goats.
Yeah. So, well, how did you go all Calgary Flames don't eat a nude arena on the waitress?
No, I did not.
That's good.
I was quite respectable about it, yeah.
Yeah. So, as I was playing ball just before we were recording today.
Yeah.
I got the privilege of making sure one of my teammates didn't get tossed from the game.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah, so I did the good old bear hug and walked him away
you had to go full on bear hug.
Yeah, well, he wasn't gonna hit anybody, but he was yelling, and so I just bear hugged him and walked him into the dugout. And
okay.
Yeah, so it's good that Natasha didn't have to do that with the queso.
Yeah, that would have gone very poorly. Because that was at the start of the meal, that would have definitely ruined the rest of the meal.
Then you wouldn't have got the fried chicken.
I would not have gotten the fried chicken, no, and I would not have known what was there. Now I just need to walk there and just get the fried chicken and leave the cheese aside. So before we get into the Metropolitan Division, the home of my current and former bandwagon teams, I just want to remind you guys of the great shows over at the Alberta Podcast Network. One of them is called Don't Call Me a Guru, Joel, and we won't do that because he so kindly requested us not to. However, folks over there on their next episode will be having a nice hockey-themed episode. If you're a fan of the Edmonton Oilers, you're going to want to tune into that. And if you're not a fan of the Edmonton Oilers and you're like, you know what, I want to hear some very interesting, they're going to be having a little Edmonton Oilers-y insider-ish. I won't spoil it. But just head over there, take a listen to him. Don't Call Me a Guru. You can find him on iTunes, the Twitters, everywhere that you want to find them, or albertapodcastnetwork.com.
See, it's funny that they probably can be called a guru.
Yeah.
But he has to tell people, don't call us guru. Where for us, no one's making that mistake.
No one's ever done that.
No, like we don't have to put that in. We don't have to say that because no one's like making that mistake. Like, oh, you guys know what you're talking about. Everyone's like, oh, these guys are there. They say things.
Yeah, they're on the internet.
Yeah, they say shan't rack.
Yeah.
Oh man, it has been a long day.
Well,
Can we forecast some teams here?
Let's do that. Do you want to start at the bottom?
Yeah, because I like talking about the worst things first.
Okay. The New Jersey Devils.
Oh,
They won the NHL draft lottery.
they did.
Yeah, they did.
They're still going to finish last.
Okay, so they're staying at the bottom.
You think otherwise?
No, I do not. The New Jersey Devils didn't really do a whole lot. Sure, they added Nico Hischier this offseason.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It was all...
That really threw you off, eh?
Well, I thought I was like, does Joel forget who?
No, I don't. Okay. It doesn't really matter. Because, like, seriously, you're being compared to Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews in the last 2 years. Good luck, kid.
Yeah. And I think everyone is aware of the fact he's not that.
Which is sad for Jersey.
Yes. The one big addition they did make is not to say that they did not do other things in the offseason. They did add Marcus Johansson, Brian Boyle, and Will Butcher, the hot shot college guy that we talked about. So I guess they also signed a couple other fill-in guys. I like the Johansson. I can never get those two straight. Marcus from the Capitals. They made a trade for him.
That was like one of the sneaky good deals of the offseason.
Yeah, exactly. So they've got him. They can line him up at center with Adam Henrique there as well. I think what they need, if the Devils are going to be good this year, they need some of the young guys like Pavel Zacha, like Hischier, to step up and take on a greater role with this team. But I'm with you, Joel. I do not think they'll be better than last year, but the New Jersey Devils could very easily finish last in this division again.
I'm really sad about Corey Schneider. I want him to be better than he is.
Yeah, I'm also a Corey fan.
I want him to be better. But
how can I do that for him?
I don't know.
Okay. Maybe go back to having better defensemen in front of you.
Yeah. Probably. That's
helps.
Probably a better. So, who do you have next?
I have next up. I probably have this is a good division. That's the real conundrum here.
This isn't difficult. There's three bottom teams.
The New York Islanders are my next team. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Matt, we're sorry. Hey,
I'm not sorry. Don't speak for me.
Okay, fine.
What do I have to be sorry about? I'm just being realistic. I'm trying to help him.
Well, no. Okay, maybe I would say I'm disappointed for him. I wish he could have hockey hat. Yes. Oh, certainly I empathize. I know what it's like. We're predicting you to be second last. I don't even know what that's like anymore.
Yeah. Tell me about this team. What's the most exciting thing about this team?
John Tavares.
Yeah, I like that guy.
He is good at hockey.
It's too bad that they don't know how to lock him up.
You know who else is good at hockey, Joel?
Not Jordan Eberle.
Andrew Ladd.
No, he's not. You're still you're flying high off the rant from the beginning if you think Andrew Ladd's good at hockey.
So, we had a bet last year that I won. We didn't put anything on it. I just made a declaration of Andrew Ladd would score 20 goals the rest of the season. He scored 23 by the end of it. So I was right with 3 extra. And I felt pretty good about that. That was after a lengthy stretch to start the year of him being bad. What I was doing this week, I was going through the Score mobile app. And just checking my notifications just to make sure there was some teams that had gotten left off. Mostly I updated my phone and the Chargers hadn't been added yet. since I got my new phone. So I went and added the Los Angeles Chargers of San Diego to my notifications and noticed that I did still have a notification to send me an alert every time Andrew Ladd scores a goal. I left that on.
Are you doubling down?
To say like that he'll score another 20 this year?
No, because we made that bet at the end, like partway into the season,
like during his empty goal, his goalless stretch. Yeah.
So if you think he's good at hockey, you'd be confident with 25, 27 goals.
I would be confident with 25 goals. I think
27.
Andrew Ladd will score 20. Yeah, I'd say he scores 27 goals this year.
So what happens if he doesn't?
Then everyone can make fun of me like they did the entire rest of last year.
Okay, I like that. Let's do that. I'll accept the terms of this bet.
I like all last year. I think the only person in my corner was Mr. Dan Rice. He was 100% in favor of the Andrew Ladd love that I had. But so he started the year with without a goal in 12 games.
Yep.
Then he scored 23 goals in the remaining 70 games. That's what that number is. So if you take his performance in the rest of those games, and obviously you can do a lot of things with sample sizes. If you take his performance, not that way. If you take his performance over the rest of those games and work it out, he scored a 27 goal rate. So that's right what he's in line for. So if you think the Andrew Ladd of the second half of that year, who got a lot of like fourth line time, he was one of us. He was not, sure, he still got some time on the power play. That was about it for a lot of that. It's just, Andrew Ladd was in a bad situation. I think this year is a fresh start. He still performed well down the stretch. I think he will. He'll pick that up. He'll be in a better situation. The forwards on that team, especially the ones he'll be playing with, are better. You swap Dylan Strome for Jordan Eberle. As overrated as Eberle is in some people's opinion, Joel, I like him better than Dylan Strome. Or Ryan Strome. Whichever Strome is in Edmonton.
Saying that Andrew Ladd was one of us is insulting to us. That's like saying What About Bob is a terrible movie. You can't say that. You can't say that Andrew Ladd is one of us. There are very few circumstances where I say that we outperform certain fourth liners. This is one of those cases that you can say that.
So, just for the record, we are now falling somewhere in the range of Andrew Ladd to Guru. We're in that spectrum somewhere.
Yeah.
In case you're keeping score at home, that's where we fall.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that sounds great. All right.
Well, you would think that since you think Andrew Ladd is like better than Sidney Crosby.
Never said that.
Feels like you said that. Okay. We're going to play a little game.
Okay, I'm ready.
Andrew Ladd or John Tavares.
John Tavares.
Okay, so I will too. Andrew Ladd or Connor McDavid.
Connor McDavid.
Andrew Ladd or Alex Ovechkin.
Alex Ovechkin.
Where's all this Andrew Ladd love?
Well, he's not a top 5, top 10 player in the league. No.
I'm sure I can do this on Cap Friendly, but like, I try to find like players that make the same amount of money. It's just taking me too long to do this.
That's fair. Here's one reason to be disappointed in what the Islanders got better up front, but what they did do is they finally found a place for Travis Hamonic to go to. Moved in Calgary. We talked previously about how great Calgary's defense is. That equally makes the Islanders' defense worse. So going into this year, they have the dynamic duo of Yaroslav Halak and Thomas Greiss in net, which is not as dynamic as I make it sound.
They still have Halak?
Yeah.
I said that weird.
It's fine. Joel, that's not the weirdest thing you said this episode.
What's the weirdest?
Probably Shantrack.
Fair enough. Won't argue that. Just a thought. I actually did pull up the guys that are making about the same amount of money as Andrew Ladd.
Yeah.
Don't sign people to contracts like that. There's a quick little list.
Okay.
Jeff Petrie.
Nope.
Tyler Myers. Dan Girardi. Brooks Orpik.
Ooh.
Dave Bolland.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do have some good ones. OEL. John Tavares. Tyson Barrie. But then we start to go down again. Goligoski. Roberto Luongo. Jerome McGinley. Marian Hossa. Nathan Horton. David Clarkson. Joffrey Lupul.
I'm very confused about this. Here's another list. I know we talked about one of these guys last week. Hockey Reference has their like adjusted point shares, and you can compare like comparable careers of some recent guys with similar careers to this point as Andrew Ladd. We have Ryan Kessler, Alexander Steen, Eric Cole, Adam Graves. Those are some of the comparable players of late.
Adam Graves?
Adam Graves.
That's not true. So my list was guys that had the same cap hit as Andrew Ladd. So it was definitely like a very awkward list because they're all in very different parts of their career, different types of players and all that. But basically, like that was just like the straight list. I wasn't like skipping names. Like that's the area that he's in, and it's terrible. That list that you just had comparables, like Kessler's the best of those guys. He's had the best career of those guys. Well, other than Adam Graves. That's a weird place for, oh my goodness, I am dying. I just got a cramp in my leg.
This show is off the rails.
There's so much. You talk about the Islanders, I'm going to go die in a corner.
What we're actually going to do, I'm going to move on to the next team. The next team that I have on this list, Joel. And it's a toss-up for me. There's a lot of places that we can go from here. I next have the Philadelphia Flyers. They finished 6th in this division last year, falling 6 points out of the playoff, or 7 points out of the playoffs, 7 points behind your Toronto Maple Leafs to make the playoffs. They picked 2nd overall in this year's draft, picking former projected number 1 overall Nolan Patrick, who I found out is also a clothing model, as is his dad. Walked past the store in the mall this week, and I was like, "What's Nolan Patrick doing in that modeling picture?" So, fun fact there. And yeah, the Philadelphia Flyers.
What store is this? I'm back, by the way.
I don't pay attention to those things. They also had PK Subban in there, so clearly their go-to is like, let's make handsome hockey players wear our clothes, and then people will buy them.
Yeah, but like PK's got he's got some style.
Yeah, he does.
I don't know anything about Nolan Patrick.
I don't either. Apparently he's style. He didn't look unstylish, but I'm also not I'm not a fashion guru.
I was gonna say I wouldn't be able to make the decision on whether I thought that he was stylish or not.
No, I'm in the same boat as you. So the Philadelphia Flyers, a team that I very much, for a lot of this division, from here on up, I could see it going any way. And so the Flyers are a team that, I think had a down year last year. Joel is going to strongly disagree with me on this next point. I like the fact that they brought in Brian Elliott and have him in net.
Boo!
See, told you.
You realize Calgary thought that as well last year.
And they made the playoffs with him. The Flyers didn't. Him. Yeah, him.
Or the other guy.
Him.
Okay.
Yeah. I like a lot of what the Flyers have in some of their young guys. Big Provorov fan. Really want to see what he can do. And then, this is a team that to me, should always be better. There was someone recently, I think it was off the show, we were talking about like someone who should be better than, like, we think they're better than they are. The Flyers are a team with Claude Giroux, Voracek, Wayne Simmons. Like, I always think that this team should be better than they are, and then they're just not.
But their defense and goaltending is so bad. It's so bad. That's like, they can score, but their defense is bad.
Well, let's add Provorov to that mix this year. Let's see if we can keep Radko Gudas healthy. Let's see if the Ghost Bear can become what he was 2 years ago. Like, this is a team with a lot of potential. Last year, they failed to reach that potential. I think this year is a mixed bag. I would not be surprised if they finish second or they finish sixth. I personally have them finishing sixth. Maybe not second. They're not finishing second. It is a clear top
playoffs?
2. No, I do not.
Yeah, neither do I. Not a playoff team yet. And it's interesting. So would you have taken the kid from, I'm not even going to try and say his name the way I've been saying names and words today. Take the kid from Jersey or Nolan Patrick?
I probably would have taken the kid from Jersey, Nico Hischier.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm skeptical about whether Patrick's going to be good or not.
Yeah, I'm with you. And, still, the injury that he had last year always makes you a little hesitant. It's difficult to know when someone has an injury like that. One, if they can take that next step. I personally, and obviously, we were proven wrong. Anyone who's in the same camp as me, but, Auston Matthews had a fairly sizable injury the year before he was drafted. Didn't matter. Like, he was healthy, he was competent, he was skilled as a rookie. Nolan Patrick, there's definitely some risk there. So,
but we're also like,
I know they're not the same player. Like,
they're like, talent wise, they're not even close.
Yeah.
So you got Philly. Then where do you have next? I'm guessing the next 4 teams are playoff teams for you.
I think so, yeah.
I don't know. Well,
Can we give a quick update? Joel's leg is better. He's now sitting back down. So everyone who was wondering, like, why is Joel's mic making this weird sound? That was him walking around his room trying to stretch out that leg cramp. So he's back, 100%.
I apologize. Apparently I didn't drink enough water today.
Yeah, maybe hydrate a little next time, Joel.
I will. So, okay, I'm confused here. We skipped a team that would be below the Philly Flyers.
I don't think we did.
Yeah, we did. Carolina. Don't even pretend that they're going to be better than the Flyers.
Joel,
they're
Carolina Hurricanes. Mike, you shut your mouth.
No, I will not. They're bad, and they will be worse than the Flyers, and they might even be worse than the Rangers. I'm doubling down on my hate for the Rangers that I did last year.
the one that put them in the bottom 5?
Yeah. Maybe they're not bottom 5. But, are you going to tell me you couldn't see the 4 playoff teams in this division, Washington, Pittsburgh, Columbus, Flyers?
I can see that, yeah.
That's what I see. I think that's the most likely thing to happen.
I think the Hurricanes finish as a wild card.
I think you're wrong. Okay. I think they finish below the Flyers and below the Rangers and finish 6th in this division, or 7th.
I agree with you that the New York Rangers. I think of any of the top. We're now at 5 teams left. I think of any of those teams, the Rangers are the ones that I would vote most likely to fail.
So we have 5 teams left.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. We gotta pick up.
All right.
So are we going Canes next, or are you going Rangers?
No,
next?
let's go Hurricanes. You want to talk Hurricanes? We've known all year.
I really don't think I do want to talk Hurricanes, but I will talk them. Okay. We've talked a lot of them.
We've talked a lot about the Hurricanes. We know my opinion. I would not have picked them as my bandwagon team for this season if I did not think that they had the ability to make the playoffs.
So. Because we have had a lot of Hurricanes talk. Give me one forward and one defenseman that you're excited about watching this year.
I am excited about Sebastian Aho. I am excited about Jakub Slavin.
Okay. There you go. So, and you have them as a wild card playoff team.
I do.
So then that would make it the Rangers not a wild card playoff team.
Yeah, if we're having 4-4, which is...
It's difficult to not have 4-4.
It is, yeah. So, yeah, I would not feel uncomfortable putting the Rangers out of the playoffs.
And this is why I said, like, it's all on Lundqvist.
It is.
The minute that guy isn't good, the minute this team isn't a playoff team. And I don't think we have too many Rangers fans, if any, that talk to us or whatnot, but don't even pretend that bringing in Pavelec, I don't know how to say that guy's name, that doesn't change anything.
No, and it doesn't, and it is the exact same situation they've always been in, and I think you'd be hard pressed to find anyone who would disagree with you. Like, to me, this team goes as Hank goes, and they're a team that made some moves to set themselves up for the future this year. Like,
Bought out Girardi.
They bought out Girardi. They traded Derek Stepan.
Brought in Brendan Smith, or re-signed him, right?
Yeah.
They traded for him at the deadline?
Yeah. And
then Shattenkirk.
So this is a team that got better defensively and worse up front. Like, nothing, they brought in David Desharnais. That doesn't matter. That's not a thing that anyone's excited about. So this is a team that is worse up front. They've added Shattenkirk on the back end, gotten rid of Girardi, and this team goes as Henrik Lundqvist goes, as a 35-year-old goaltender. I think we saw last year, Roberto Luongo, the only other guy playing, I guess Ryan Miller played, he's older as well, as kind of that crew. He missed some time last year, if I am not mistaken, Joel.
He did.
So this is like, if you expect Henrik Lundqvist to be able to play as many games as he has the last few years, and him to stay healthy, that's not likely. Like,
yeah.
You cannot expect him. I know they've talked about trying to drop his games played, like the last few years, 57, 65, 46, 43. It's a ton of games.
Yeah. And they're not going to like their backup.
No.
Like, they're not going to be excited about him playing 30 games.
No, that's not a good situation. So this is, and Hank had a down year a little bit last year. So if this is not the Vezina quality goaltender, and you start to see the drop off again, 35 years old, definitely possibility. This team is in for a world of hurt.
I'll give them one more playoffs. Team that's finishing next in this division.
The Columbus Blue Jackets.
No.
Really?
Washington Capitals.
Interesting.
So they don't have Shattenkirk.
Yeah. They only got him at the deadline last year.
They don't have Nate Schmidt.
That hurts.
They don't have Carl Alsner.
That hurts.
They spent money on TJ Oshie instead.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have Marcus Johansson, and they spent money on Kuznetsov. So you're happy that they spent money on those two guys, but they had them last year. And now, this team, their depth is not very good.
That's accurate.
So I don't think we're seeing...
Did you say they lost Johansson?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this team, while still a playoff team, there's no question they're going to be in the playoffs. I don't think they're winning the President's Trophy. I don't think they're winning this division.
Well, Joel, there was a training camps open. Someone asked Alex Ovechkin about the upcoming season, and you know what his preview of the Washington Capitals season was?
What?
We are not going to be sucked this year. So
Did anyone think they were going to?
yeah, but
I'm not saying that they're going to be bad, but I'm just saying they're not finishing first.
well,
Is that now considered bad?
Ovechkin is confident they will. I think for him, like you win President's Trophy after President's Trophy, you can't make it to the conference finals. To him, I assume he thinks that is being suck.
Well, they're not going to win the President's Trophy. They're not going to win this division, and they're not going to make it to the conference finals because this team doesn't do that.
I know that they don't do that, and I definitely do not have them making that far. I don't have them winning this division, but I definitely still think that they are a good enough team to finish second. But they are worse. Like they are a team that got worse. Got worse enough for me to jump off that bandwagon.
So the next team, Columbus, nothing really changed here.
No. They're
Well, I guess they brought in Panarin for Saad. That's the biggest change.
That's the biggest trade there is that, and I like that for them. I think we've talked about that before. We talked about that when we talked about the Hawks. Love that pickup for them. And this is a team that you have to hope, and this is when we talked about this with Allison back when I was debating the Jackets as a bandwagon team. This is a team that you have to hope is still able to handle the tough coaching of John Tortorella. As long as this team is still able to do that, and with all, it seems like they can, especially as a young team, typically that kind of coaching works well. I think this team can still succeed with a John Tortorella coach, at least for this year for sure. So I think the Jackets will still be good. I think they're going to be in the playoffs. But as we've seen with this team before, they are less so than I think probably as much so. They are dependent on Bobrovsky as the Rangers are on Lundqvist.
Yeah. Do you think we see Pierre-Luc Dubois this year?
I think they give him a chance. They want to see what he can bring to this team, and I don't think it's going to be good.
Yeah, he didn't play so in 48 games in the queue, he had 55 points in 48 games.
Yeah.
He had a much better playoffs. Well, I had not much better, 22 points in 19 games.
Yeah, which in the playoffs is good. You want people to be able to perform against the best of teams. That's what you have in the playoffs, and so
far cry from his 99 and 6-2.
And that is the problem. Is production dropped. He definitely struggled a lot at the start of the year, and then was able to turn it around by the end. So for me, I look at that and I say, it concerns me. I don't think he'll be able to be the guy that they were hoping he would be when they brought him in.
So then we have Pittsburgh winning this division.
We do have the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Anything really to say?
They're good.
They're good. Not much changed. They lost Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah, and
we knew they were going to lose him.
The same issues that this team always has. Chris Letang, you never know if you can count on him being a part of this team.
They don't need him to be a part of the team. Exactly.
They've still got a lot of the same decor from last year. I honestly, and I think we talked about it at the time, Antti Niemi as a backup for this team. Sure, I don't want him as the backup of the Dallas Stars, but I think he's going to be a good enough backup, and they've still got the exact same guys up front that you know and love. It's literally just the Stanley Cup champs minus Marc-Andre Fleury. So,
well, you're happy. You're happy with Antti Niemi as your backup, because Murray's young. He can play a lot of games. You don't need Niemi to play a ton.
Well, I think you might want to give Murray, with the injuries that he had last year, you're okay giving him a little more time off, right?
Yeah, but Niemi can handle that, especially with a good team.
Yeah, and you play him against the bad teams. It's literally you play him on back-to-backs and you play him against the New Jersey Devils.
Man, I forgot that Niemi was bought out, and Ben Bishop is making less than $5 million a year.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird things going on in Dallas. Pittsburgh Penguins, are they the Stanley Cup champions this year?
No.
Ooh, who is the Stanley Cup? We haven't asked this question yet.
Let's wait till we're not gonna. We have that's got to be week of the season. Give me training camp to do some scouting.
Okay, right, obvious. So it's not the two-time defenders, but it is someone else.
You know how hard it would be to win 3 years in a row.
Yeah, it's almost like they're a dynasty.
It's not gonna happen.
Okay. Joel.
Yeah.
Guess what?
What?
It's almost, as you talked about, we're going to give you some time to pick your Stanley Cup champion. But you know what we need to do? We need to pick some people to play in our fantasy hockey league.
What?
So, if you want to, we've had some people reach out to us, some folks who were in the league last year, some new folks. If you want to play in our fantasy hockey league this year, there are 9 spots remaining. We have a 12-team league. It is me, it is Joel, it is Nate.
No, it's not me.
It's not you.
Well, it is kind of me.
Okay.
Don't you remember?
Why don't you tell the fine folks out there? I remember, but
me and Tiny Mike, we're co-managing a team together.
Ooh. So this is Mike's first foray. I just almost got one thing this is Mike's first foray into fantasy hockey. You know what's very interesting though, as I get distracted? My new housing situation has me overlooking multiple intersections of downtown Calgary.
Yeah.
I get to watch the most interesting things happen as I record this show, oftentimes distracting me, especially this guy who almost just ran a red light and got T-boned. So there's a lot going on down here. All he was doing was in a hurry to get gas. For some reason, he thought he could just drive right through a red light. Oh, no, he's going past the gas. He's stopping at the 7-Eleven. He needs a Slurpee, Joel. How can you blame the guy?
Yeah, now we know what's real. Yeah, I get it. I get those things. So what's the criteria? We're just saying if you want to play, fire us an email?
Yeah, fire us an email and just tell us why. Last year, Nate, he's in the league. You know why he's in the league?
Why?
Because he has the same last name as my wife's maiden name. That's the reason I put him in the league.
Oh, that's good.
He gave us a great reason. I don't remember what it was. I was like, hey, Nate, my wife might be related to you. You're in the league.
Okay.
So maybe someone, they don't know it, but they have the same name as your wife used to have.
Nope, they probably don't. Do you want to know what my wife's maiden name means?
I do actually, yeah. Because I was going to try to say it. I'm not going to shan't rack that.
So her maiden name was Madame Morris.
Okay.
And it means killer of the Moors.
Wow, really? What did the Moors do to them?
I don't know.
Wow.
That's
That's next level.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty crazy. It's crazy to think think about how other countries have history built into their names. And it's and now we just have Smith. It's well, what does that mean? Smith.
He was a smith. That was his profession. That's where a lot of them come from, right?
Right, but it doesn't. There's no real meaning anymore like that. There's no deep meaning to people's last names anymore.
Well, and you can't do that in English.
Right.
Yeah. You can't make someone's name murderer of this people group. You can't do that.
But just to be clear, just in case people are wondering, the origins of that last name very far back.
Right. So she is not.
No, nor anyone that we have met from her family.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad.
Yeah. So, are the Moors still is that still a people group or no?
We can look that up.
Now we're getting deep into the fourth line.
I don't think so. Wikipedia doesn't seem to think so.
Well, Wikipedia is pretty
Britannica, an actual encyclopedia, says that they stopped being potentially in the 17th century.
Okay.
So
I remember, do you remember the Moors episode of Seinfeld?
yes.
Seinfeld's such a great show. Moops. Oh, man.
So let us know why you want to be in our fantasy team. It can be any reason, and it just needs to be the best one you give us is in. Maybe it's, if you make Joel laugh, that's a guaranteed way to get in the league.
Yeah.
If you make both of us laugh, extra points. If you impress us, if you give us a fun fact about yourself, if you tell us a talent, or if you bribe us.
Yeah.
Those are all great ways to get into this league, and we will be putting people in starting next week on the show. So if you do want to join, let us know. And you can tune in to our Patreon episode for a little bit more. We're going to be recording that right now. Joel, is there anything else you wanted to cover on this week's episode before we wrapped up?
I don't think so. We were going to talk about best hockey names, but we had too much content, so we'll bump that to next week.
Right. Next week we will give out our first ever puck.
Yeah.
To the best names. Keep them coming. We've gotten some great submissions thus far. Best names next week's show. We'll also do our Atlantic preview. Hopefully we have enough time to talk about Joel's Toronto Maple Leafs. If not, we'll just skip them. It's fine. We'll just talk about the Boston Bruins and the Montreal Canadiens a lot and skip the Leafs. That's fine.
I do not approve.
It's not your say.
Wow.
Well, Joel, look.
Wish I had known that was the way it was before we talked about all of your teams that you love. The 7 of them, or however many you cheer for now.
Look,
goodness.
Yeah, that's what you took control at the start of the show, and I appreciate that. And I feel like that was my pushback. Like I'm just.
Yeah. Did you know that because of your tirade at the start of the show, we can just end? We did all the housekeeping at the beginning.
It's true. All right. Find us on Twitter at Fourth Line Podcast, thefourthlinepodcast.com. We still have our 31 teams and 31 days preview, and
Boom City.